Here we are in our year-end review packet, our first packet for the unit review. And what I'm going to do in this video is the 2-column notes. So that's the first page in the packet. First thing we're going to talk about is I can follow the order of operations. So order of operations, some of you know as PEMDAS, right? We should all actually know it as PEMDAS. I think that's one of the easiest ways to remember it. So the P stands for parentheses. E is for exponents. And now the next one, why I put the M and the D together, it's multiply. I can spell today. There we go. Or divide from left to right. So it depends which one comes first. And then we have add, subtract, left to right. Okay. Just a quick review of exponents. We have talked about exponents before. I said this was my goal for the year is that you leave 6th grade knowing that 3 squared is indeed 3 times 3, and it is not 3 times 2. Just like 2 to the 3rd power would be 2 times 2 times 2. Okay? Next we have I can add and subtract decimals. So first step is you need to line up the decimals. Then once you've lined up the decimals, bring that decimal straight down so you don't forget about it. Else you might leave it behind. So bring the decimal down, and then sometimes you have to fill in zeros or placeholders. And then the last part we're going to review here is simplifying fractions. So for proper and improper fractions, all you really need to think about is you find a number you can divide both of them by. Which is also called the GCF, greatest common factor. So then we have some examples here. Order of operations first. So no parentheses, no exponents, but I have multiplying and dividing. And I'm going to go left to right. So 5 times 6 is 30. Bring everything else down. Don't do too many things at once. Then I would have to divide first. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So 30 plus 2, and 30 plus 2 is 32. Next, P, parentheses. Now in the parentheses, I have to do the multiplying first. So 3 times 2 is 6, so I have 9 minus 6 still in parentheses. And then I bring down everything else. Still have parentheses I'm not done with, so I'm going to keep going. 9 minus 6 would give us 3. So I have 4 squared minus 3. Now 4 squared, those are the exponents. And remember 4 squared, maybe you have to write it off to the side as 4 times 4. Which is 16 minus 3, and 16 minus 3 would give us 13. And then in the last one, I've got P for parentheses first, so 12 plus 4 is 16. Bring down everything else. And then done with parentheses, I'm now onto the exponents. And remember, 3 squared is not 6. It is 3 times 3, which is 9. I'm going to bring down everything else. See how I'm working straight down. Done with exponents. On multiply and divide, well, I've got some dividing. So 9 divided by 9 is 1. Bring down everything else. And now I have adding and subtracting. If I have both, I go left to right. So 14 minus 1 is 13 plus the 16. So then I'm left with 29. 13 plus 16. Okay, so notice how I'm moving down. Everything comes with me. There are no equal signs. Okay. Next target, I can add and subtract decimals. So I'm going to line them up. So 5.18 plus 0.9. Now I have this blank space here. I'm going to do it in orange. This is where I would put in a placeholder. Just to keep everything nice, bring that decimal down. 8 plus 0 is 8. And then 1 plus 9 is 10. Carry the 1. 5 plus 1 is 6. So 6.08. Next I have subtracting. Now remember, whole numbers, the decimal comes at the end. So this is really 8.00 minus 1.19. And now I have to do some borrowing. Bring my decimal down first. So 8 becomes a 7. The 0 becomes a 10, but then I have to borrow again. So that 10 becomes a 9. 10 again. So 10 minus 9 is 1. 9 minus 1 is 8. And 7 minus 1 is 6. So 6.81. And then the last one, 14.6 minus 1.34. So make sure those decimals are lined up. Again, I'm going to need a 0. Cannot do 0 minus 4, so I'm going to borrow from the 6. That becomes a 5. So 10 minus 4, which is 6. Oh, forgot my decimal. See, even I do it sometimes. 5 minus 3 is 2. 4 minus 1 is 3. And then 1 minus nothing. I guess sometimes maybe some of you will put 0 there. 1 minus 0 is just 1. So 13.26. And then the last section here, simplifying fractions. So for some of you, you might need to list out the factors. So like the factors of 14, things that multiply to make 14. 1, 14, 2, 7. Then maybe the factors of 22. So 1, 22, and 2, and 11. Then you see that the biggest one is 2. I'm going to divide both of these by 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 22 divided by 2 is 11. Next one, same thing. Maybe just list the factors of the smaller number to start with. So 18. So I got 1, 18, 2, 9, 6, and 3. And then you're going through that list and you're like, okay, well, let's start so 1, yeah, 1 goes into 27. That doesn't do anything. 2 does not go into 27. 3 does. 6 does not. 9 does, and 18 does not. So we're going to go with the bigger one, which is 9. You'll divide both of these by 9. So we got 2 over 3. Now here, with the improper fraction, just work on turning it into a mixed number. So I know that one whole group of 5 fits into 8. So one whole group, I have 3 left over that I didn't use, and my denominator was 5. Then remember, you can always check it by converting it back. So 5 times 1 is 5 plus 3 is 8. So you get your 8 over 5 back. And then 22/8, they're even numbers, so 1 and out divide by 2, and you would get 11 over 4. All right, so I know that's kind of long, but that's all for the 2-column notes for this review unit.